Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're back with another Trails and Tales Plus update. This update is for 1.20.1 and it's not as big as our other updates, but there are some really cool features in it. So we're going to start off with the smaller features, and towards the end of the video we'll then start to cover some of the bigger features. The calcite block now has a load more blocks it can be crafted into, slabs and stairs, and then we also have smooth calcite, which also has slab, stairs and walls. We then have polished calcite, which has the slab, stairs and walls as well. We then have calcite bricks, which also have slab, stairs and walls. And then finally we have calcite tiles, which do have slab, stairs and walls. The calcite blocks can all be crafted in crafting tables and stone cutters. How you get them all: the polished is for calcite, the bricks is for polished calcite, the tiles is for bricks, calcite bricks, and then the smooth calcite is by smelting this block in the furnace. But you can just throw a calcite in a stone cutter to get all blocks but the smooth one. And if you then craft up, for example, the bricks, you can put the bricks in there to get the slab, stairs and walls, and this is the same with polished and also the smooth. I love the textures for the calcite. They look really cool and they do blend with quite a lot of Minecraft blocks. A quick little update before we jump to the next block set. Smooth deep slate, toughened deep slate, and ancient deep slate now have rotations to them. So as you can see right here, the textures are not always the same. They can randomly rotate when you are placing them. If I look at the top right here, you can see that the textures are kind of flipped. And that works for all three of these. We made that change just to make when building with them feel not as repeating. And then the second new block set inside of this update is limestone. Limestone can be found within lush caves in patches, just like clay can. And this comes in, once again, a load of new variants. You've got normal limestone, which I'm not going to say if it comes in slabs and stairs, because otherwise that'll be a lot of slabs and stairs. You can see the variants they come in by them placed next to each other. You then have smoothed limestone. You then also have polished limestone. You have limestone bricks. And then you have polished limestone bricks. And here is a look at all the textures if you want to do that. The limestone bricks and polished limestone bricks are the same. They just have like the lines in them is a bit more obvious. So if you want the bricks to stand out a little bit more, that is something you can do. Now once again, these can be crafted in crafting tables and stone cutters in the order they are shown in, apart from the smooth one, which is crafted by this block in a furnace. And just like the calcite, if you throw one of the limestones in a stone cutter, you can craft up every single type apart from the smooth, and all of them inside give the slab, stair and wall variants as well. Now moving away from full block sets, we have added some blocks to fill in some already existing Minecraft block sets. First one is smooth dripstone, and that is what smooth dripstone looks like. It's quite close to normal dripstone, but the texture is a little bit more smoothed out rather than being like the normal dripstone. If you build with them both together, they do look like the same block, but they do blend quite nicely. We then have quartz brick wall, which this is a wall for quartz brick. And then we do also have normal quartz wall as well. So there is now some white walls within the game that you can build with. A few other walls we have is polished diorite. So if you like diorite, you can now build with a polished version. Then also polished granite, and then finally polished andesite. And then we do also have some smooth stone stairs, because smooth stone only has slabs within the game. There is now a stair block, and then also smooth stone walls as well. If you can't tell already, this update is mainly focusing on building, and then there is another part of the update which we'll be covering towards the end, as that is the bigger part. But we have basically added just a load of new blocks to the game. These next blocks are just filling in some missing Minecraft blocks. We have got the nether brick fence gate, because nether brick does have a fence, just no fence gate. So there is now a fence gate for that. And there is also red nether brick fences and fence gates, because for some weird reason Minecraft forgot to add these. And then there is also nether brick lamps, which is a lamp made out of nether brick. These can be crafted with 4 nether bricks and then a shroom light in the center. And then also red nether brick lamps, which are crafted the same, just red nether bricks instead. I really do like these lights. They're a mixture of shroom lights with then the brick versions around them, which I think they do look really cool. Jumping away from new features to cover a bug fix, the hollow logs that were added a few updates ago, well, these can now be waterlogged, so you can now place water within them, and the water will not go anywhere, so it'll act kind of like a barrel. but if the log is facing sideways, water will only flow out the 2 ways that are open. So if I place that in there, as you can see, it's only flowing out 1 and 2. It's not flowing out the sides because there is no opening for it to flow. And then now let's cover the final few blocks before we jump to the bigger features within this update. First of all, new endstone variants. We have got polished and smooth endstone. These are crafted out of the endstone bricks, and they are purely for decoration. We then have a golden door, which matches up with the iron door, and also golden trapdoor. These can be opened with your hand, so they don't work like iron doors, they work like wooden doors. And then we'd also have prismarine doors and prismarine trapdoors. And these work like wooden doors where you can open them with your hand. But the difference with the prismarine door, they can be waterlogged. Both the top and the bottom can both be waterlogged, unlike the gold door where you can't waterlog them. So now we've covered all of the blocks. That is every single block that has been added this update. So now we have covered the first part of the update, which is the builders part. The second part is exploration, and this adds quite a few new structures to the game. So the first structure is seen right here. This is a center point, which is right here, and it expands out into different types of caves. But there is a spawner within this, and if we head down into survival or creative mode, this spawner spawns a new type of spider. These chests do also have a lot of loot inside of them, mainly spider related stuff, so if you ever need string or cobwebs, this is a good place to come. And this new spider is the bone spider. It comes from Minecraft Earth, I believe it is. And this new spider is used for a certain thing. When you kill them, there is a low chance they can drop a spider's fang. This thing right here. Now this was added in a old update and it was gotten from normal spiders. Well, that is now changed and it's only gotten from bone spiders. The use for this was to trade it with a wandering trader for a new enchantment. So the new updated use for this spider fang is if you grab yourself a crafting table, you need 1 bone and 2 spider fangs, and that will get you a spider fang blade. Now you can see the buffs this gives. When you hit an entity, it will apply poison. The poison it gives is poison 1 for about 10 seconds. And then it also, when in your main hand, it does 7 attack damage, 1.6 attack speed, and then it does also decrease your speed. So if I grab myself a witch, for example, and then punch the witch, you can see the witch is then poisoned for about 10 seconds. And this structure is random. These corridors you see right here will generate randomly. They could be this oak looking one, they could also be this Celestine, they could also be, this one has kind of been blocked off, but it's a dripstone one. There is also, I think, like a skulk related one. I have found a second one right here, just so I can show you the difference between the two. This one does have a turn inside of it. As you can see, it does turn around, and this one seems to like turn quite a bit, meaning that it doesn't really have much inside. This one, once again, does turn, and this one is the skulk one I was on about. So the rooms it generates are pretty random. The length of these corridors is also random, so they could be 1 room like this one, they could be 2 or 3 rooms like this one. I just quickly want to show, this is what limestone looks like within the lush caves. It spawns in quite big patches. And the reason we've come to the lush cave is because of this. There is a new dungeon type. Now this dungeon type spawns completely enclosed, so this doesn't spawn like Minecraft dungeons where you can find a bit of an entrance open. They spawn mostly in walls. You can find now and again parts sticking out. And these spawn with skeletons, husks, or cave spiders. They do have loot inside of these chests. It is just the classic dungeon loot. And they do also spawn with some decorated pots. And that is really all there is to say about this structure. There's not much else to it. Now the next structure, which we have got lucky, and there is one just over, where was it? Right above us here. This is a prismarine tower. And this spawns in any type of ocean, mostly buried under the ocean, but 2 rooms do stick out. Now the door for this structure is right here, and it does use the prismarine doors. So let's have a quick look around this structure. The first thing, there is a conduit in the first room. This conduit is not activated. The plan for it was to make you come here, grab the conduit and activate it, so then you can loot the rest of the structure. But obviously you can also just use water breathing. There is suspicious blocks right here also, and these can be brushed for some loot. They have the same loot as ocean ruins, so the sand is warm ocean ruins, the gravel is cold ocean ruins. And now we are out of the water, because these are the 2 levels that are above ground. There is some empty barrels, some dried kelp, and then also a chest and more dried kelp. This structure is kind of meant to represent where drowns come to keep all their goodies, as if we head a little bit lower, they have been collecting suspicious blocks from the ocean ruins to bring them here. If we head lower, below this level with the conduit, there are some decorated pots, which once again they've gotten from the cold ocean ruins. And then there is also some sniffer eggs, which once again they would have got from the ocean ruins. If we head even lower, this level does introduce a new block, which I'll talk about later on. Now, if we head outside of the structure, this structure is not that easy, because it spawns guardians around it, and also on the rare occasion, drowns can also spawn around it. Now, these are most commonly not on the inside, but they will spawn on the outside to stop you trying to get into the structure. The next structure that is new is this one right here. This is the ancient cabin that we saw in Minecraft Live before the ancient cities were made. This just spawns randomly within the deep dark. It has a blast furnace, it then does have some chests with some food and ice, and then also a guaranteed golden apple. And inside of this double chest is just random ancient city loot. It's just here for a little bit of extra loot if you do go strip mining within the deep dark. Now, before we jump to some of the other changes within this update, let's cover the new block set that we saw inside of the prismarine tower. These are them. They come in every single type of, like, resource. You've got iron, gold, emeralds, diamond, netherite, and copper. And these are refined versions. So these are versions that are a lot easier to obtain than the normal blocks. They don't have any use. They are mainly just pure decorative. You can see what they look like right here. And the crafting recipe for them is pretty much the same. I'll use iron as the example. So this iron is replaced with whatever version you want. For example, emerald is just normal emeralds, copper is copper ingots, and it is crafted just like so, and you get 3 in return. These cannot then be made back into ingots. Once you craft them, you have them forever unless you burn them, and they are just decoration. They have no other uses. These were meant to be used for something else, but that was scrapped. So the thing we thought of these, we were going to remove them, but we thought, why not have a version of the block that you can build with without having to spend so many resources on the actual block itself. And this is what we come up with. They are pretty different, but they do still match the colours. The second to last structure is right here. This one spawns within the Badlands biome, and it uses baobab wood. It's a new wood that we added a few updates ago. And this structure has some unique things. It has the hollow logs in the walls, and some of them are mossy. It then does also have some moss on the floor, and then also a leaf pile over the top. Now, it does have a secret, and the secret is if you break the middle carpet. It has a basement. The basement is 100% spawn, and this basement is a tutorial on how to make invisibility potions. So first you put the nether wart in, next you put the golden carrot, and then next you put the fermented spider eye. And then behind it kind of shows you what the invisibility does. There's an illusioner right there, with then no illusioner inside of this one. Now if I set it to nighttime, and I wander 24-ish blocks away, we should then start to see a mob spawn. And there we go. Illusioners can spawn around this structure. It has to be nighttime for them to spawn, and it just makes the structure a little bit harder to conquer. Now, there's not really much loot here. It's mainly to add the illusioner as a mob. And then the structure that we spent like 50% of this update on, this thing right here. And no, this is not just the whole structure. This structure spawns randomly within the nether. It spawns underneath the lava, but you can find it by seeing this tower. It has spawned next to a fortress, but that is not guaranteed. Now, I do have some survival footage of me and Infinite raiding this structure, so I'll roll that in a second, but I quickly just want to explain a little bit about what the structure does. Now, you can drop down to the bottom here without taking full damage. There is a new block, the Withered Pot. This block can have items stored inside of it, just like the 120.3 decorated pots. It can only have one item type, but up to a stack of that item type. Then if you break them, you get the loot. These are crafted from 4 nether bricks. There is also a new spawner type, which we'll cover in a second. But this structure spawns with 4 rooms. Each room has some differences to them. The rooms are random and they are not the same. The first new mob is the Weeper. This is a soul version of the skeleton. This has a 50-50 chance to spawn with a bow or a sword, as you can see right there. And this mob has a new effect to it. So let's get the one with the bow to hit us real quick. I want to kill the others just so I don't die. So now we have the one with the bow. If we let this one hit us, we will get the weeping effect. Now, the weeping effect does it so you cannot jump, or you can jump, but not as high. If I try to place a full block right here, I cannot jump up this full block. The weeping effect can also be brewed using the weeping soul, which is gotten from killing these guys. And if we look, you can get weeping arrows, weeping potions, splash potions, the lingering potions, and also the bamboo spear. And then let's now see the next new mob. This is the boneling. And this is a skeleton version of the pigling, which has a new axe type. You can obtain this axe. Let's quickly just get rid of you so you don't kill us. And this axe can be gotten from killing the boneling. The boneling will throw this axe at you, dealing quite a lot of damage if it hits you. Now, getting the axe is not easy. It's got the same drop chance as the wither skeleton skull from a wither skeleton, so it is extremely rare. But that is because it's quite overpowered. If we grab the axe, it's called the throwing axe. The axe can be thrown by the player, but it instantly comes back to the player with no enchantments. So it works kind of like the trident with loyalty, but it doesn't need loyalty to come back. It instantly boomerangs back after it hits an entity or a block. If we spawn the boneling and throw it at the boneling, you will see it hits the mob and then comes back to us. And now looking at the survival gameplay, I'm talking over this just to explain a little bit about what's going on. Each room has some spawners. The spawner is a new spawner block, and it spawns a random amount of whatever mob the blocks show around it. So in this case, we got skeletons. A list of the entities that can spawn from these spawners will be on screen, so you guys can see exactly what mobs you can expect when going into the structure. Once the mobs in the spawner have spawned, the spawner will go on cooldown for about 15 minutes. When you kill all the mobs that spawner has spawned, you will get a chamber key. Chamber keys can be used to open the chamber chests. Chamber chests are also random. There'll be between 1 and 3 in every single room that generates. The rooms are also like completely random. So the corridor generates, and when the corridor generates, it will have a chance to place a room. When the room is placed, it will pick any one of, I think there are like 15 currently. And we do plan to add more in future updates to change up how the structure works. But I'm only showing one room in this survival gameplay. I want you guys to experience the structure for the first time yourselves, as it's a really cool structure, and it is themed off of the trial chamber in 121, but with our own unique twist. So now you have seen that survival gameplay. It's quite a cool structure, and I want to know your guys' feedback on this structure as it took so long to get right. And then one more change I want to mention inside of this update. The creative tab has been completely overhauled. The Trails and Tales one has stayed the same. This is every item we have introduced within this mod. But every single Trails and Tales item now is included in Minecraft tabs as well. So when you search or when you scroll through here, it's grouped up better. So if you search, for example, oak, the hollow logs are with the log versions rather than being down here. And this is the same for every single tab. If I scroll through the building blocks, you will see that the ancient deep slates are now grouped with the deep slate. The calcite is now grouped together properly. and so are certain things like the prismarine door. It just makes the creative tab a lot better. But anyway, that is it for this update. If you did enjoy, do leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this update in the comments. And once again, if you want to provide feedback, the best places to do so is on the comments of this video, inside of my Discord, or on CurseForge. And I will see you guys next time for another new video. Once again, Merry Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.